One message for you. I really only have one message for you, which means that when lunch is here, we're going to break out to lunch, and you're still going to remember that message. I'm going to take you through I'm going to take the long way to get to that message, but you're going to get that message 3 times during that presentation. Number one reason why startups, 9 out of 10 startups fail. Number one reason.
After you.
Oh, you want
Twitter? Yes.
Okay. Missed the point. It's too late. Number one reason, 9 times out of 10, that a startup had failed is because they had the wrong product for the wrong customers. Number one reason. Here is a quote. I realized essentially that we had no customers because no one was really interested in the model we were pitching. Doctors, what they were offering is something that makes doctors' offices more efficient. And what they said was doctors want more patients, not an efficient office. Startup that failed. Another startup that failed. We did a lot of things right, but it was useless because we ignored the single most important aspect every startup should focus on first, the right product. And I want to add, when I say the right product, I mean the right product for the right customer. Let's see, anybody here who was in the previous session? No, I get a whole brand new set of people. Okay, good, so I can say everything that I said before. It's actually exactly the same session as before, I just have a different time. These are the 4 things that make a business successful. 4 things, that's it. Differentiated product that offers differentiated value to a unique set of customers. Maintaining competitive advantage, preventing your competitors from entering, and generating money. Return on investment. Not just money, but profit. Okay? This is it. This is it. We're going to talk about this part here today. There are 2 terms, and I actually had to, I apologize, I was preparing for this pretty late, and then I realized when you got this little matrix here of the plan for today, I realized that they slightly changed what I wrote into your competitive advantage. Your differentiation is what gives you your competitive advantage. And I said, no, absolutely not, you have to change it. And she changed it in time for you to see it today. Because those are 2 different things. They're related, but those are 2 very different things. And what I want you to get out of it today, mainly, is to understand the difference in the relationship between them. This is what differentiation is. And you see that it says importa, et. That's what happens when you use one computer to create the slides and another computer to present them. Differentiation opens the door to you and lets you into the market. Differentiation opens the door into the market. And the reason is simple. How many of you here own a company with more than 8,000 employees? Nobody. More than 100 employees. So you're not big companies. But there are big companies in your market. Mona, what other big companies are in your market? Sorry, you were not planning on me asking questions while you're eating. Well, you're the only person who's eating, so I have to ask you.
Function of Beauty and Pros. They're both custom curlier products.
They're big companies. Why would anybody buy from Mona in her company if there are other big companies? Because Mona is doing something different. Mona is doing something different enough that there is a unique set of customers that says, I need her product and I don't care how small she is. This is who you need as your customers. That's water.
That's for me.
Oh, that's for me. Thank you. So you need to find who is it, that customer that says, I need what she has, I need what he has, I need what he has, even though I know that they're a small company, because what they have is something that is unique, that the big companies don't offer. This is the flow of differentiation. This is differentiation. This is the one thing that you're doing that's different. I'm going to pick on Mona again. Mona, what is unique about your products?
It's specialized for curly hair.
Curly hair. Specializes in curly hair. You could be a customer. Not so much. Definitely not. Okay. Nobody else offers that type of specialization. That is the differentiation. What is the enablers? What allows you to offer what you offer?
the customization process.
Okay, so it's a process. There is a process that you use here that allows you to offer this unique differentiation. What is the value to your customers?
Empowerment, lux, feel,
Okay.
beauty.
And by the way, I'm surprised you already went there, because typically what people say is it allows me to deal with my curly hair. But no, you're talking about the real value that they get, and I'll get to it in one of the next slides. And then there's the audience. Who are the audience? It's already simple. We started pointing them out in the audience. He, for example, is not in your audience. Okay. Differentiated products, offering differentiated value to a unique set of customers. What is the process to reach them? The first question is, what is it that we're doing that's different? If you can't find a solid, strong answer to this, don't bother with the other questions. Who are the potential users that see that value? What is this? What are the users, who are the users that care about that differentiation? That's your total available market. It's not everybody in the world. You know, one of the conversations that Mona and I used to have was Mona would say, but you know, these customers can benefit from it too. You have to separate the question, who can benefit from it, from who benefits from it the most. Right now, we care about who benefits from your uniqueness, not from your product, from what makes your product unique, who benefits the most. Who can we approach? Some you can't approach. Any adoption model history. Sometimes you can look at something similar, an analogy, and say, well, this is how long the adoption took of that product. I can deduct from it and apply it to my business. We're going to start with an exercise. A company, this is actually a real thing. A company reached out to me, a startup company reached out, the Texas Instruments guy, he sees the motor, he goes, I can think of PWMs and stuff under, I worked in Texas Instruments.
I'm not Texas Instruments.
You were?
No.
Oh, so that's it. So the person sitting right next to you, okay, I didn't know who said it. Okay, I'm still going to say that you're from Texas Instruments. See a motor next to you.
Yeah.
Work with me.
He still likes motors, you know.
Yeah, and he still likes motors. So
Here's
somebody came to me and said, again, real story, came to me and said, in Granbury, an engineer, an electrical, I would say electromechanic engineer, and he said, I have a new electric motor. Okay, who cares? And he takes me through 86 slides of his presentation of what makes his motor so different and why is it so different. And that's great, except that I'm trying to see what the value is until he got to one slide and he showed me that slide and he went on and I said, whoa, go back one slide. What are you showing me here? Am I reading that slide correctly? Are you telling me that to get the same amount of torque, you're using 80% less electrical power? He said, well, yes. Well, don't move on to the next slide. Are you also telling me that if I put the same, to get the same amount of torque, I can use 80% less power, or if I use the same amount of power, I get 5 times the torque? He says, yes, but I'm going to show you how. I said, I don't care. I don't care how. Who cares about this? An open question to you. We have a new electric motor. This electric motor can either, well, it depends on how you build it, either do the same mechanical power, gives us the same mechanical power, torque, speed, whatever we call it, for 80% less power, electrical power coming in, or for the same amount of electrical power coming in, can give me 5 times the output, mechanical output. Who cares?
Transportation.
Transportation. What do you mean by transportation?
Buses, trains.
Free to lay.
Why do they care?
Because it would cut down on their taxes significantly. The people wouldn't pay as much to get people from A to B.
Why?
Because you save them 5 times as much.
They spend less on electricity.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you 4 options, okay? Choose between these 4. Power drills. I mean, by the way, just in case you're not clear, power drills sell more than the next three combined several times, okay? There are a lot more power drills than anything else here. There's electric airplanes, I'm not talking models, they're actually electric airplanes being tested today and flown. Air conditioners and electric cars. Who cares? Of these four, who cares? Who thinks that the market, your market, should be the biggest market? Power drills. Yeah, right? Why?
Because pretty much everybody owns a power, or every family, owns or should own a power drill.
There are so much more power drills than anything else, right? And when you use a power drill on a project, typically how long do you use it for?
Maybe a collective of 3 to 5 minutes.
Let's say 20 minutes. 20 minutes. If we spend 20 minutes, what would be the average cost of a project that you use an electric drill for? Hundreds of dollars, something like that, tens of hundreds of dollars. You know how much electricity you will save with this power drill because the motor uses 80% less power? You know how much you're going to save per project? On average, about 8 cents. Let me ask the question again. Who cares? Who cares? This is the biggest market. But they don't care because that translation of 80% less power is not meaningful in the grand scheme of things of what they're working on. I saw another hand.
No, that's okay.
Not anymore
Not
because
anymore.
of how I treated him.
Pretty much. No, you answered it. You
But
answered
I would
it.
argue that the manufacturer, maybe one manufacturer has that motor and the other ones don't, and they market it effectively as, hey, our power drill is going to consume, you're going to have to buy batteries less often, or something that they can market appropriately to the end customer.
So we're going to confuse the customers because we're not going to charge it fewer times. We're going to charge it before every time because your battery is going to lose charge internally between projects more than you're going to save.
Do you recharge a power drill?
You what?
The batteries.
Yeah, no, but you charge the batteries.
Oh, I thought it was like just like double A's, triple A's, whatever.
You obviously haven't used the power drill, especially not the battery base. No, you charge the batteries. There's no power drills that actually use batteries you throw away. But thank you for playing. So when we look at these four, this is, by the way, what was your name?
Andrew.
No, he doesn't want to tell me his real name. Okay, Andrew, we're going to quote that. I know. Andrew. Andrew brought up a point of if you market it well enough, if you confuse the customers. You know when this happened? I was part of the Wi-Fi Alliance. I was on the board of the Wi-Fi Alliance where we drove the Wi-Fi standard. And when we did that, Broadcom came up with a standard called 54G. You should know that being from Texas Instruments. See, now it's late. Now it's going along. Yeah. So Broadcom came up with 54G, which was 5 times faster than what Wi-Fi could have done until that point. Except that nobody really should have cared. You know why? Because the speed of internet going into your house was still a fraction of what Wi-Fi could support at that time. So who cares if I have Wi-Fi running 5 times faster when the pipe coming into my house is 1/10 of what Wi-Fi offered before? Nobody cared, but they were very successful in marketing it, in saying, you need more speed, period. Everything goes up, you need more speed. By the way, funny thing is that right now, the speed of Wi-Fi is probably about 150 times faster than what Broadcom came up with in 2001. That was the So, but they were very successful in marketing the importance of speed, how fast you need it to be, which again, was really meritless because nobody really should have cared. Nobody would really benefit from it. So I'm really talking about who would really benefit, not who we can convince with very strong marketing, but who could really benefit from it. So since we're going to have to break to lunch, I'm going to skip, go faster. When I look at all of them, electric cars, kind of who said transportation? Okay, you say who says transportation? Transportation, obviously electric cars, one of the biggest issues with electric cars today is the cost of batteries, the size of the batteries, right? Well, so we have the cost of the batteries, the size of the batteries, that really dictate how long can I run on a single charge. Okay? Let's not even talk about how much electricity and how much do I pay for electricity to charge the car. Let's put that aside. But we have how long can the car drive. And the winner is, as small as the market is, electric planes. Because here, the cost of charge plays a role. The size of the batteries, the weight of the batteries plays a much bigger role than it does in a car. A car can carry a lot of stuff. An airplane, this by the way is a real electric airplane. An airplane the weight is the biggest thing, the biggest issue. You wouldn't believe it, but pilots and owners, I should say, replace the equipment they have in the panel to save 120 pounds. Imagine the thousands of pounds that you can save in batteries. So your question, when you differentiate, it's not enough to say we're doing something different. It wasn't enough for Mona to say, I am doing something different, my product is for curly hair. It's important to identify who this product is for and who this product is not for. Can everybody use it? Of course, everybody can use an electric motor that uses 80% less power. Electric drills, power drills can use it. Everything that uses an electric motor can use it. Electric motor can use it. But electric airplanes benefit the most from it. Does that make sense so far? Okay, now, I talked about something that gives you 5 times value. Anybody here heard that you're only going to be successful when you offer 10 times value, the 10x factor? You heard that. I see a few head nod. Nobody wants to specifically raise their hands because you saw what happens. I want to break this myth of the 10x. Sometimes when you do something 10 times better, you lead to 10, maybe not even 10% customer value. That was the example with power drills. Power drills, 5 times less power, but if you look at the cost, which your customers would most likely care about the most, you look at your cost and you go, wait, this is a $200 project, and in a $200 workout finish. You thought that I was working out the whole time. This is a cool watch. So it is your job as much as it is mine to keep me on track, and you'll be out of here on time. So do they care? They do, but they care to the extent of 8 cents on a $200 project, as opposed to electric plane. So 10x technical difference can lead to maybe 10% improvement in value. However, these are examples. So for example, TVs used to be standard definition. You're from Texas Instruments, you remember this? He plays well. So 720, it's 480p, 480 lines. This is what TV used to be. Then they went to high definition, 720. Then they went to full high definition, 1080p. Then they went to 4K, and they're actually doing 8K as well. Okay, let me ask you a question. The difference in terms of technology, capabilities, real functionality between a standard definition and a 4K TV is 27 times better. Are you willing to pay 27 times the price? No? By the way, the difference between a high definition TV and a 4K TV is 4 times. Are you willing to pay 4 times more for a 4K TV? That's an example when an increase in performance of 4 times, or 27 times, or 10 times does not equate to an increase in value. And I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that at any point in time, a 10% improvement can yield a 10x value?
Yes.
Well played, Andrew. Why? Because it's there, it's up there. What if the next line would have been to just cross out that line? Okay, this happens when you cross a barrier. And I'm going to give you an example. We are in the business of building boilers, water boilers. Mona is in the business of building a water boiler. I'm in the business of building a water boiler. Mona's boiler is a little better than mine. Hers can generate 212 degrees, while mine can only generate 200 degrees. Hers is 6% better. Is there more than 6% increased value in her boiler than mine? Who thinks that there is? Andrew is so brave. I mean, after what I did before, he still raises his hand. Andrew, when does it matter? What? Who cares? Show me that it's valued at more than 6%.
Because water boils at certain temperatures.
Who cares?
So it won't boil.
Who cares? Why do I care if water boils? I mean, when you go to the shower, do you care if your boiler goes 200 or 212? I mean, I hope you put some cold water too.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some use case for it. What if I need steam? What if
Can
I'm
anybody think
steam
of
powering something?
Steam powering something? Yes, yes, yes. Andrew, yes, yes. This thing would not move with my boiler. It would only move with hers. 6% difference. 6% difference. So I want you to get this thing out of your head. 10 times performance does not yield 10 times the price. Sometimes 10% improvement would yield way more than 10%, because this is going to have zero value if it could not generate steam. Who asked the question before? No, she's not. Whether price can be a differentiator. So let me ask you a question. Can price be a differentiator? Can you differentiate on price? Yes, who said yes?
If you
Offer a lower price?
if you are the leader on the low price, then yes.
Okay, this is the cost of the existing product in the market. This is the profit. This is the cost to the manufacturer. Okay, this is the profit they make, and up here, cost plus profit is the price that they charge. We are going to beat them out of the market, right? Our cost is the same because, you know, there's only one type of equipment that we can use to build the same product, but we are going to take less profit. So our price is going to be lower. Are we winning this market or what? Yes? Are we going to win?
Not necessarily.
In the short term.
Involved? Okay, so I'm trying to penetrate the market. They're already selling. They're the ones who sell in volume. We're not yet.
So what's gonna happen is they have more money to improve their product later on down the line, or
No, not improve the product. I didn't change the cost structure.
I'm just thinking, just in terms of luxury items, luxury goods, right? So sometimes people want to be able to own a luxury good, and it is that brand name or something that people want to be associated with. So they don't necessarily have to do anything to lower their prices, because people are going to come up to their price because they have that much confidence in the brand.
So you're showing an example when price cannot be a differentiator. When you care about brand more than you care about price. I'm asking, when can price be a differentiator? And the first problem is, you know what? This is their profit. All we're doing here is we're taking less profit. The way we're winning business is by taking low profit. It doesn't cost us less. What do they have to do to stay in business? Which, by the way, they're the incumbent company already in the market. They lower their profit too. Now they win. So can low price be a winning strategy? Who thinks it can?
Well, there's some markets.
Only for one.
To enter in, not to stay in.
Walmart? Okay, why Walmart?
Because Walmart came into the market with the things low price, lowest price, and put a lot of companies out of business who couldn't compete, could not do it.
Why couldn't they compete, the others? Why couldn't the others compete? What did Walmart have?
The overhead. Walmart had.
They have reached the buy.
They had.
Thank you. The only way you can win with price as a differentiator is if you have a structural cost advantage. Now, your profit, when you add your profit and you're still under their cost, that's when you can win with price as a strategy, low price as a strategy. Southwest Airlines, Walmart, excellent example. Of course, what they can do is say, oh no, we're going to sell under cost. Predatory pricing. You have to ask yourself, can we sustain it? Southwest Airlines, the way Southwest Airlines was able to compete with the major airlines was they said, okay, how do we achieve a cost advantage? The way we achieve a cost advantage is by, we're not going to transfer bags. We're not going to worry about where you sit in the plane. We're only going to carry one type of plane. Is there anybody selling tickets today, airline tickets, cheaper than Southwest Airlines?
Oh, yes.
Who is?
Oh, my gosh.
Spirit. And
Southwest reduced their prices, so just peanuts. Now, a lot of airlines don't even like to serve you a meal anymore.
anybody flew on Spirit or Frontier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. You said unfortunately.
It's all God.
Did you not have options?
Yeah.
Did you know that this is what it's going to feel like?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, I did fly them again.
Yes, yes, I did.
How tall are you?
6'3", 6'4".
Okay, that makes all the difference. I'm only 6'1", so I flew on Frontier and Spirit, and I'll fly again.
Yeah.
And what are their seats made of? I mean, these are like, you're sitting on higher end seats here, you know, from plastic, and the tray. What the heck? I opened the tray and I was waiting for the rest of it. You got nothing. There's no service. But what do they have? They have a structural cost advantage. Airbus 321. I'm going Airbus 321. Seat number I have is 43. I thought only a 747 would have 43 rows, or a 777 would have 43 rows. Not an Airbus 320, 321. It does when you organize it. There's 240 passengers, 246 passengers on a Spirit or Frontier. This is how you get a cost advantage. The price per seat is lower. And the major airlines cannot compete with this. You cannot put a 787 and compete with an Airbus 321 that you squeeze 246 people into. Generally, there are 3 types. This is a book from the 90s, still one of the top 10 books I ever read. Disciplines of Market Leaders by Tracy and Wirzima. I did not come up with those names. 3 main strategies. Best product. Best product is when what you're competing with is the performance or features of your product. Okay, that would be a BMW. Okay, that would be a Ferrari. That would be something like that. Operational excellence. This would be a Southwest Airlines, and now the Frontier and Spirit Airlines. This is when your operations, you squeeze what you get out of cost, and because of that, you can offer a lower price and not let anybody compete with you. American Airlines can try and compete with them, United Airlines. To think that I just dropped my wife on a United Airlines flight this morning. United Airlines can't compete with that because they don't have that operational efficiency that Frontier and Spirit for their markets. Frontier and Spirit cannot fly internationally because if you want to fly internationally, there are a few other things that you need to put into that plane than what you have. You don't have that. Customer intimacy, this is a total experience. This is kind of a one-stop shop. All of our cable carriers, the other Frontier and Spectrum, American Express, Intuit, TurboTax, QuickBooks, and so on. They offer customer intimacy. So this is when we're offering so many things that even if every one component is cheaper, getting it from somebody, Adobe, I use their Creative Cloud solution. You know what? Is there any other? So just the other day, I started a podcast. By the way, the Trust Show. I started a podcast, and I started looking at what software tool am I going to use to edit it. I like to do the editing myself. Well, Audition is kind of complex, but I already have it as part of the same suite. So would I go to something else? No, I'm just going to stay with this. Customer intimacy. Those are the 3 main strategies. And you just need to think about what is your strategy to be differentiated, to win in your market. Okay, so when we look at that differentiation flow that I showed you before, this is your differentiation. What is your differentiation? It can be features. We have features that other products don't have. Performance. the performance, so this, for example, the 80% less electricity, it's not a feature, it's a performance issue. Ease of use, convenience, reliability, quality, brand, something else. Those are all the things that we use in differentiation. Brand, probably not so much for a startup. Brand requires to be established. So this is probably not one that you would have. But quality could be, yes ma'am.
Is there like a hierarchy as far as differentiators or that, is independent of the type of companies?
It's not just that it's independent, but it's two companies can win market share by one of them offering different features to customers who care about features, and others offer performance to customers that care about performance. Okay? So both competitors can exist at the same time offering different types of differentiation. What is the value? Value to customers are pretty simple. So Mona, which one of these fours are the value that you're offering? Time, money, increase in pleasure, or decrease in pain?
I think it's decreasing pain.
I would have said increase in pleasure.
Or increasing. Yeah, I was
Okay,
thinking
that's, you don't say or B because
I feel like it's an either or situation.
Okay.
Increasing pleasure, but it's kind of the same.
Go ahead, give me an example.
Yeah, right? Like from their product.
Women fight with their hair.
So-
Their hair.
What's
They
your-
used to paint it there.
I did. Did you hear the comment that I came in? He said you can have multiple types of values. Yes, but the problem is when you go back to the previous one, when you try to offer too much, and you may remember that, what's your name by the way? George. George, you may remember that from Texas Instruments when we used to come up with products, and actually this is something that we used to do in Texas Instruments, not so much in Texas anymore, but we used to come up with a product that would offer a lot of differentiating values. We would have multiple features and all kinds of things, and we ended up never being competitive on price, which is something the customer cared about. And when we said, but if we wanted to be competitive on price, we would have to take a lot of things out, and our customer said, well, I didn't need this and this and this and this and this. I don't need them, I have no value. Oh, if we took those out, we can definitely compete on price. Well, why didn't you? Be careful with offering too much value and offering too much differentiation. Focus on who cares and what do they care about, and this is what I'm going to focus on, and I don't care about the rest. One cool thing from the previous thing that Tracy and Razima showed, I didn't talk about the red lines here, is, look, if your focus is going to be on the best product, it doesn't mean that the price can be completely outrageous. Okay? It still needs to be within reason. If you're going to compete on price, it doesn't mean that your customer responsiveness can be zero. You still have to be responsive. So there is an absolute minimum, but you need to find out what is it that your customer, your specific customer, cares about the most, and this is what you differentiation. Okay? Now, what enables, what allows you to do that? So, technology, Mona, is it technology for you?
Yeah.
No. We already talked about that.
I want to introduce you all to Chef Luna, who is feeding us. No, you don't have to stop, but I just wanted to introduce you. She's going to run, I'm sure, in a second to get more deliveries out. But I just wanted you to know her. She's a local entrepreneur. She is right on Hillcrest, breadsticks with an X.
Yes.
Yes, but yeah, I just wanted you to know her.
I'm
Because you're going to
obsessed
eat
with
her
this
food
lady,
today.
and her son is amazing,
And I'm
so.
obsessed with her.
Thank you.
Okay, that was.
Yes.
Thank you. So I get that you want to break
No,
soon?
but I just want to introduce you.
4 minutes.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
She will let me know.
I just think you should know who you're eating.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Okay, so Mona, back to you. Is it technology? Mona, is it technology?
No.
No. Is it process?
Yeah.
Is it a business model? Who innovated based off a business model?
Amazon, Uber.
Who said Uber? Uber.
Yeah.
Did they reinvent the car? No. Did they reinvent the driver? No. What did they reinvent? They reinvented the process. By the way, Uber. What is the value that Uber offered?
Time.
What was your name?
Nikita.
Nikita.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Nikita, what? Oh, you're giving it to me? Oh, okay.
Time and.
Time?
I think the difference is
Time is part of it, but was there real and main issue, a major issue of time? That Uber solves? I mean, I can still call a cab. Drive time would be just about the same. What is convenience?
Offer more
Increase your
drivers. Whereas cab
I
drivers.
think money too.
I'm learning about you have a driver that's
Yeah.
at the airport, one that's in Bronx, one that's in downtown Dallas.
So that's time. We're back to time. I'm going to challenge you to think about what I'm going to say. And you know, that might not be true for all of you. To me, one of the worst things about taxi cab drivers was that the unpredictability of the price. You walked into a taxi, if you don't know the area, tell me how many of you walked into a taxi cab in an area you didn't know and were worried that they're not taking the short route.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make more money because the meter is running, right?
Yeah.
Does this happen with Uber?
No.
Predictability went away, or predictability, just kidding. Another one, the whole money exchange with the taxi cab. You know, it's $22. You open your wallet, you want to give a credit card? No, I don't want him to have my credit card number. Do you want to give him, what do I have in my pocket right now? I don't have exactly 22, I have 240, 220, so I have $40. So what do I leave as a tip? This is uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Do you have that with an Uber?
No.
We are eliminating a couple of major pains, and I'm going to claim that those are some of Uber's main value propositions, rather than the time, which you know they're saving some time, money. You know, it costs a little less money, but I don't think that these, to me at least, these are not the top ones. Okay, we're about to switch to competitive advantage, and I believe that we're about to break out. So I'm just going to start on that and tell you what the role of competitive advantage is. If you remember in the back here, you can see a differentiation, differentiating value, differentiating audience, and differentiating enabler. The purpose of competitive advantage is to defend your differentiation. More specifically, it's to defend your differentiation enablers. You're not trying to defend your differentiation. You're not trying to say, I'm doing something different. What you're defending is what allows me to do that differently. And you prevent others from using the same enabler to reach the same differentiation and therefore get the same value. I think that this would be an excellent point for us. Yes, this would be an excellent time for us to break. So Jen, are we breaking now?
Jennifer.
Are we breaking now?
No, I was just wondering.
No?
Once the chicken's here, and if
Okay. We're waiting for the chicken. I'm not even sure what that means. It seems like it was a code for something. Okay, so remember that I showed you my 4 slides? This is something that I found. Where did I find this from? Social Impact Architects, where they said, you know, you win. This is what here's where you win. You win in the purple one here. This is what your customer needs and cares about. This is what you do really well. This is what your competitor does really well. If you try and cover all of this, oh, I like touching the screen. It leaves a mark. And it's not my TV. It's probably not 4K. If we try and address all of this, this is where we lose to our competitors. So focus here on what your customer really cares about, what you do really well, and your competitor doesn't. So this is the statement you want a picture of it. Okay, here. Moved it on the right there. Thank you. I wasn't invited to parties alone. This is the statement that I want you to get. Differentiation opens the door for you and lets you into the market. Competitive advantage closes the door behind you and prevents your competitor from entering the market. You have to do something different for your competitor. You have to do something different for customers to buy from you. If you do the same thing, now, you're going to tell me, no, we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it cheaper. No, then you're not doing the same thing. You're doing it cheaper. Of course, to do it cheaper, you must have a structural cost advantage, because otherwise they're going to lower their profit as well. You had a question?
Is competitive advantage the same as defensibility? Is that the same?
Competitive advantage, that's exactly what I said in the previous slide.
Oh, okay, I'm
in the
sorry.
previous slide, 2 slides ago, what I said is the competitive advantage is what defends
Okay.
your differentiation. Okay? So, first of all, you want to get into the market. To get into the market, you have to do something different. Competitive advantage, and you know, we're going to get to that at the end. I just want to make sure, if I don't know how long will lunch go. Actually, we have until, what, 1:45, I think, for this session? Oh, so we got time. We're good in time. So, but I'll get back to that. When you use the terms competitive advantage, it should never ever, and I have at least 2 slides on this, it should never ever be what your product or service does that's better than any other product or service. That's not your competitive advantage, that's your differentiation. Your competitive advantage is why nobody else can do the same thing. How did you manage to lock the door behind you? Does that make sense? Any questions so far? Anybody here willing to share what the differentiation of your product or service is? Kathy?
Okay, so basically, I have a product that my competitors can't even touch because
I'm
they're,
asking about differentiation. How is it different?
how is it different? Because you can play golf 24/7, real golf.
You can't do that anywhere else?
Cannot play anywhere else.
So what's the differentiation? What's the value of the differentiation? Let's go back. Time.
Pleasure.
Okay, it's related to time. The reason I'm not just jumping and agreeing with you, IK, is because to me time is, it's taking me less time to do the same thing. This is kind of how I think. But, you know, we can look at time by saying 24/7 as opposed to only 8 hours. Okay, what else? Pleasure. Pain, reduced pain of, but which one really of all of them? Of 4 of them? What are you focused on?
Fun,
Pleasure?
pleasure,
It's increasing pleasure.
it's increasing pleasure. People who never got to play golf before, they play golf now.
I may agree with IK actually, and say that it is the 24/7. When we talked, I don't recall that we talked about 24/7, but this might be your number one. And just keep in mind, again, the reason I said that it is important that we categorize, not just categorize what is it, you know what, in terms of differentiation, where does it fit here, in terms of differentiation? Where would it fit? The fact that it's 24/7.
Convenience.
Okay. I can get convenience.
Liability is
And I'll tell you why. You know, when you go to a golf course, you don't know exactly what time they're going to stop accepting tee time because it's dependent on when they get started outside. That could be at 5 p.m. some places during some time of the year. That could be at 8 p.m. If I get off work at 6 p.m., I know if I go to her place, it's reliable that I'm going to get to play 18 holes. The lights are on.
And of course, it's not underwater because it rained yesterday.
Well, yeah.
Can you do that for my rifle range?
I can't.
It's like I know that I can't go there if it rained in the last 3 days because everything is quiet. we can categorize, or we can put a value in every one of them. And by the way, you're going to see that the last slide I'm going to show you is how this applies to even your competitive advantage. Nothing, rarely any time in life there is an absolute 100%. You know, anybody ever watched The West Wing? One of the scenes that I watched that I loved was that there was a debate, and the president said, there are very few instances in life that are completely right or completely wrong, and they typically involve body notes. So nothing is going to fit 100% into one of them and absolutely none to anything else. But you want to find out which one is your leader, okay? And so for you, I would say it would be convenience. It's the convenience. And the value that convenience gives is, I would categorize it in time, but I can see how we can categorize it in pleasure. I think it's really more a matter of definition. Yes, Paul?
When choosing differentiation, is it best to focus on like one or two? Because I feel like you can select several, right? You can do ease of access, convenience, reliability. Is it best to focus on one or two when offering a product? Because typically simple is better.
So Mona's question is it better to focus only on one or two? And the answer is no. Only on one. Not only on one or two. You remember from Texas Instruments. I love it. So, you want to focus on, but let's go to PepsiCo. Let's actually use examples from PepsiCo. What would you say PepsiCo does focus on in terms of differentiation? Quality compared to Coke.
The Frito-Lay products.
True, PepsiCo is a larger company.
Right.
Choose one of the brands. Lay's. What is the focus on?
Well, it has to be a pleasure, but I think the value is with the quality, reliability that you could always count on. Freshness of the product.
So if I'm a customer and I walk into a Walmart and there is a Lay's one, what would be another one? Not from PepsiCo, from another company.
Great value.
Generic.
Great value.
Yeah. Or in Costco, Kirkland. Okay, so why would I get this?
Because you're going to count on the quality, the taste, and the freshness of that product.
There won't be a burnt chip in the bag.
And brand trust, the trust in the brand. Trust
So-
in the brand.
Well, that's the brand
She
loyalty.
said trust. I think we can argue over that. I remember back in the 80s when the quality movement started, you know, Six Sigma and everything. You remember we were young at that time? I wasn't born. The quality movement started in the 80s, Six Sigma, and it was really around the auto industry. And it was the Japanese that realized how important quality is. It was the American cars that would always fall apart, right? They were great, their brands were great, nobody wanted to buy a Japanese car. The brand was great, and but it came down to reliability. And so the Japanese said, our differentiation is going to be on reliability. But it got to the point where today, would you still today, I mean, people at our age that remember the 80s, we would still have this imprinted in our head. But look at the young folks here. Would you look at, Andrew, would you think that a Japanese car is more reliable than an American car today?
Yeah.
Why? No, seriously.
Because a Corolla can go to like 300,000 miles, and I've never seen any Chevy ever go past like 120, 150 maybe.
I attest to that. Pontiac, 36,000 miles.
30 what?
36,001 miles.
because the warranty is $36,000. I bought my Jeep Wrangler and I got it with lifetime warranty. And the reason they sell you lifetime warranty, you know why they sell you lifetime warranty? Because it's non-transferable and they know that you're going to keep the car on average for 5 years. The first 3 years, $36,000 are covered by the manufacturer. So they know that all they have to do is take care of $24,000 in 2 years, right? I told them when I bought it, this is my last car. He didn't believe me, and so I'm going to use their warranty until I die. Because the car dies, they bring it back. So, you know, I would argue that the delta today, or the level of differentiation, is not as big. And I'm trying to think, the 4 cars that we have in our family right now are all American. And we have, one of them is a 2012, so this is almost a 10-year car. I know I'm going to regret saying it. No issues. That was a mistake to say. No,
Yeah.
that was a mistake. I went too far. My wife has a 2014, mine is a 2015, my other daughter is a 2020, so we got time. It's a Chevy, but we got time. But I don't think that the delta is, now it's ready, give me 1 minute. I don't think that the delta is as big as it used to be back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, that would have been a major differentiator, quality. I think that today, when I look at Lay's sitting next to a generic brand, I don't think that what sets it apart in the customer's head is the quality as it is the brand.
Right.
And they go, the brand, there is a trust, and somebody mentioned there's trust. Nikita, did you say trust? Trust comes with the brand itself. Okay, now lunch is ready. I don't know how long. Camille, how long we have for lunch? 30 seconds.
No, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. We got 30 minutes, so we'll be back here at 1, and we have good time too.